Nefertiti was the great royal wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten during the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt, a period marked by religious, political, and artistic transformation. Her name is often translated as the Beautiful One has come, which suggests she may have been of foreign origin, possibly from the region later known as Mitanni. Though many scholars argue she was Egyptian and may have been the daughter of a high official named I. Little is definitively known about her early life, which contributes to the enduring fascination surrounding her identity. She first appears in historical records as the chief consort of Akhenaten, who was then called Amenhotep IV, early in his reign. Nefertiti and Akhenaten are recorded as having 6 daughters: Meritaten, Meketaten, Enkisenpaten, Neferneferuten, Tasharat, Neferneferu, and Setapanor. Their family is frequently depicted in temple reliefs and household shrines, showing the royal couple in intimate and affectionate scenes with their children. These portrayals stood in contrast to traditional Egyptian artistic conventions, which tended to maintain formality and distance between rulers and the public. This shift reflected a broader cultural and ideological revolution centered around the worship of the Aten, the sun disk, which Akhenaten elevated as the supreme and only god. During the early years of Akhenaten's reign, Egypt continued to worship its traditional pantheon of gods. However, Akhenaten soon initiated a radical departure by closing temples dedicated to Amen and other deities. He moved the capital from Thebes to a newly constructed city called Akhenaten, known today as Amarna. This city was designed as the religious and administrative heart of the Aten cult. Nefertiti played a highly visible role in this transformation. Artworks and inscriptions portray her participating in rituals traditionally reserved for the pharaoh, such as making offerings to the Aten. She appears almost as Akhenaten's co-ruler, rather than a subordinate queen. Her image is depicted in positions of authority, smiting enemies and wearing the crown of a pharaoh, suggesting unprecedented status for a queen. The artistic style of the Amarna period also diverged sharply from traditional Egyptian ideals. Depictions of the royal family became more elongated, exaggerated, and naturalistic in some respects, while still retaining symbolic distortions. Nefertiti's famous limestone bust, discovered in 1912 by the German archaeologist Ludwig Burchard, represents the pinnacle of Amarna artistry. The bust, now housed in Berlin, contributed significantly to her reputation as a figure of extraordinary beauty. Modern scholars debate whether the artistic portrayals represent physical reality or symbolic theological concepts, such as the merging of masculine and feminine attributes in divine rulership. In any case, the art offers valuable clues about the ideological environment in which Nefertiti lived. As the Aten religion intensified, Egypt's diplomatic relations and internal order weakened. Traditional temples lost economic and political power, while the Aten priests lacked experience and infrastructure. Foreign territories once loyal to Egypt began to show unrest, and correspondents from vassal states asked for military assistance that often did not arrive. This period appears to have strained Egypt's resources and administrative stability. Nonetheless, within the court and capital, Nefertiti continued to be honored and displayed prominently, suggesting she remained central to religious and political functions. At some point, in the later years of Akhenaten's rule, Nefertiti's presence in historical records becomes less clear. Several theories attempt to explain this disappearance. One possibility is that she died, as suggested by a damaged inscription referencing a queen who perished during a time of plague that may have struck Egypt. Another theory proposes that she assumed a new identity under the name Neferneferuten, or even Smenkhkare, a mysterious pharaoh who co-ruled with or briefly succeeded Akhenaten. These interpretations stem from changes in how royal names were inscribed and the appearance of a ruler, with the name resembling Nefertiti as extended royal titles. Other scholars maintain that she may have simply retired from public life or fell out of favor, though the evidence is limited. After Akhenaten's death, there followed a period of instability in the royal succession. If Nefertiti did rule as Neferneferuten or Smenkhkare, it would have been brief. Ultimately, the young Tutankhamun later known as Tutankhamun, assumed the throne. He was married to Akhenaten, one of Nefertiti's daughters. Under his reign, traditional religious practices were restored, the name of Amen reinstated, and the capital returned to Thebes. Officials worked to erase the Amarna period from history, dismantling temples, destroying inscriptions, and attempting to erase Akhenaten's legacy. This systematic removal likely contributed to the disappearance of definitive information about Nefertiti as well. Despite the attempts to expunge the Amarna era, fragments of Nefertiti's legacy survived. Her bust, as well as numerous reliefs and statues, provide evidence of her influence and beauty. Excavations at Amarna have uncovered additional artifacts, suggesting the scale and complexity of the Aten capital. Her depiction as a powerful figure with no equal standing to the pharaoh has led historians to reassess the role of royal women in ancient Egypt. Earlier queens, such as Hatshepsut, had taken the throne, but Nefertiti's prominence as a co-ruler during a time of profound religious change was distinctive. Modern archaeology continues to search for her tomb or mummy, but to date, her burial place remains unknown. Several proposals have been put forward. Some researchers suggest she may be buried in a hidden chamber adjacent to Tutankhamun's tomb. Others propose that she was interred at Amarna and later moved, though no conclusive evidence has been found. A set of remains known as the Younger Lady, found in Tomb KV35, has been proposed in the past as Nefertiti, but genetic analyses have not conclusively matched her identity with known family members. As a result, her final resting place and the circumstances of her death remain unsolved historical mysteries. Scholarly interpretations of Nefertiti's role continue to evolve. Some view her as an equal partner in Akhenaten's religious reforms, helping to guide the ideological shift from polytheism to Atenism. Others see her as a symbolic figure elevated to support Akhenaten's mortuary theology. While real administrative power may have been held by officials within the court, it is also possible that she actively participated in governing during periods when Akhenaten focused more on spiritual activities or withdrew from public duties. The degree to which she influenced political and religious decisions remains a topic of ongoing study. Nefertiti's legacy in popular culture has grown significantly since the rediscovery of her bust in the early 20th century. She is often portrayed as a beauty icon or the epitome of ancient Egyptian elegance. However, this modern fascination contrasts with the incomplete and sometimes contradictory historical record. Her life is known through fragments, inscriptions damaged or defaced after the fall of the Aten cult, artworks created with ideological agendas, and archaeological discoveries subject to interpretation. This scarcity of definitive facts contributes to the sense of mystery surrounding her. The Amarna period itself provides an important case study in how radical religious and political reforms can alter a civilization's course. Akhenaten's attempt to establish monotheism was unprecedented in Egyptian history. Nefertiti's participation in this religious shift not only reflects her importance within the royal hierarchy, but also helps explain why later rulers sought to remove her from historical memory. The return to traditional religion after her time demonstrated both the resilience of established beliefs and the risks of changing long-held cultural foundations. Although much about Nefertiti remains uncertain, her influence on art, religion, and the royal image has left a lasting mark on the study of ancient Egypt. She stands at the crossroads between innovation and tradition, between visibility and disappearance. Historians continue to debate whether she should be remembered primarily as a supporting figure in Akhenaten's revolution or as a powerful leader in her own right. The scarcity of surviving evidence ensures that these questions remain open to interpretation. The historical narrative of Nefertiti reflects both the achievements and fragility of royal power in ancient Egypt. Her rise to great prestige, her central role in promoting a unique religious vision, and her subsequent disappearance illustrates how quickly reputations could be transformed by political shifts. While her physical remains and burial place remain undiscovered, the rediscovered artifacts that depict her contribute to an understanding of her status and importance. The combination of beauty, authority, an enigma, encourages continued investigation into her life. The study of Nefertiti also highlights the complexities of interpreting ancient records. Many of the inscriptions that detail her titles, lineage, and activities have gaps, damage, or deliberate alterations. Assigning meaning to these fragments requires cautious analysis and comparison with other sources. Archaeologists must consider the symbolic context of artwork, the biases of ancient scribes, and the broader changes occurring within Egyptian society at the time. These factors make reconstruction of the past a careful process that must balance facts, theories, and uncertainties. Nefertiti's story occupies a transitional moment in ancient Egyptian history. Before her time, Egypt maintained a stable religious and political framework centered around a pantheon of gods, temple wealth, and strong bureaucratic institutions. After the Amarna experiment, the kingdom restored the old order, placing renewed emphasis on Amen and the traditional priesthood. In the middle of this transformation stands Nefertiti, whose prominence reflects both the aspirations and instability of this unique era. Her narrative continues to develop as new research sheds light on the Amarna royal family and its aftermath. Even though her name was once nearly erased from history, Nefertiti has become one of the most recognized figures from ancient Egypt. Her famous bust has traveled in exhibitions and inspired widespread admiration, reinforcing the association of her image with beauty and elegance. Yet the true significance of her life lies not merely in aesthetics, but in the historical context of religious reform, artistic innovation, and royal authority. Her story reminds us that ancient individuals were shaped by their societies, but also contributed to shaping the future of their civilizations. In conclusion, Nefertiti remains a compelling figure whose life reveals both what is known and what is lost in the historical record. She participated in major religious changes, held an elevated position within the royal court, and left behind some of the most iconic representations in ancient art. Yet her origins, her ultimate fate, and the full extent of her authority are still debated. Her disappearance from the records, whether through death, political shifts, or attempts at erasure, ensures that the mystery surrounding her endures. As archaeological research continues, new discoveries may eventually clarify her story. Until then, Nefertiti remains both a symbol of ancient Egyptian grandeur and a reminder of how history can vanish yet still leave faint traces that captured the imagination of future generations.